Bitcoin is getting rocked. It's off 4.5%. You will have margin calls, the same as we had yesterday and the day before. So I've got the SPY up here, and we're going to go into the SPY and my prediction for today in just 1 minute. But let's talk about the rest of the market first. Futures are flat to down about 0.2%. So that's in line with expectations as far as the expectations I have. Now, the economic data that we're looking for today doesn't come out till about 8:30 in the morning, so there's nothing to report there. However, the 10-year note is 1.785. Now, let's remember when we ended last week, it was 1.785. It spiked over the weekend all the way up to 1.85, settled on Tuesday to 1.81. So understand, this whole week it's went from 1.81 to almost 1.90 and back down under 1.80, which makes our markets more investable. So our markets are more investable based on the 10-year, but the SPY is telling you something completely different. So next I go to the US dollar, which also was pressing about 96 yesterday and the day before. It has since consolidated just a bit. It's about at 95.64. So I'm holding on that with no real information there. Now, what to expect? Let's remember, history repeats itself. So Friday's chart for the SPY was similar to Tuesday's chart. And then you had Wednesday's chart was similar to yesterday's chart, meaning on Wednesday, futures pushed up higher, and then they sold off slightly after market open, I would say around 10 a.m. Yesterday, futures pushed up and the market was green at open. Remember, the Dow was up 400 points and tech was up 300 points. And I went on my platform and I said, I'm a believer of a strong market if both the Dow and NASDAQ hold 300-point gains yesterday. So that was my thought process between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. At noon yesterday, I realized the market was starting to sell off. So what did I do? I personally exited my UVXY puts. I did not enter into any new contracts because I was unsure. And rather than investing when you're unsure, you need to be correct. So have a strategy, know your entry point, don't chase. So let's go back to the SPY. Now you've seen the SPY, it's been selling off. There was some nice buying on January 19th, where we saw it spike up in the morning. We saw the same thing yesterday, even though there was more selling. Now, if you look at the selling at the end of the day yesterday, it was pretty darn intense. So you have two theories. Number one, that selling will continue today with margin calls, with crypto getting hit. And we could see the SPY probably trace all the way down to about 442 before I believe it will reverse for the day. Okay, so understand, have a strategy. If the markets go down and almost tank because of margin calls, Bitcoin's dropping, then I would be looking for a reversal probably around 11 a.m. Eastern time this morning. And I would assume the SPY could be as low as 441 or 442. Now, the second possibility is, and let's remember, I'm a contrarian, so I expect the unexpected. All right, so the second possibility is you look at the SPY and you look at the RSI and it's extremely low. And every time it's been at this level, it's had a bounce. So let me pull up the 3-month chart so I can show you exactly what I'm speaking about so you don't think I'm speaking out of my behind. So I pulled up the 3-month chart, and as we can see, back in December, 1, 2, 3 major outflow days in the SPY. And then what happened? We had a bounce higher before, again, it sold off and then we bounced higher. Am I expecting that? No, but I am expecting the unexpected because Wall Street doesn't like to get beat. And what I mean by that is twofold. Number one, after hours and pre-market consists of less than 1% of trading activity. So when the market pushes extremely low or extremely high after hours or pre-market, I don't pay that much attention to it because Wall Street doesn't like to miss out on the gains, meaning they want to be involved. So it's likely if futures are up here, they'll come back at some point during the day so that Wall Street can get involved and push it higher. Same thing on the other end. If futures start down here, I believe the market will push up so that Wall Street has time to sell off their positions. That's what I see. It happens all the time, and the retail investor gets screwed, which is why I am here. With that said, if the SPY does bounce, I would look for a bounce from 442, which is, I believe, will be the low on the day, probably close to about 450. So I do believe we'll bounce higher at some point during the day. I believe the market is oversold. Doesn't change the fact that we're in a bearish pattern, as you can see. So let me pull up one more chart. I quickly pulled up Roblox. Why? Because I shot a video over the weekend about Roblox, and I told you, although you're seeing inflow, and Roblox is starting to change, I'm a non-believer. I think tech stocks will continue to struggle. That's what I said over the weekend. And what do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight outflow days, with the last 3 being Tuesday. Shot my video here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, outflow. So anytime Roblox has spiked, it has been a perfect opportunity to grab some puts. Now, do I believe Roblox will continue to go down? Of course not. I actually like Roblox as a company, and my little companion, Winter, from over the weekend, agrees with me. So what are we looking for? Finally, I'm looking for Roblox to bottom around $70 or $71. That would be a buying point for me. If you love this information, check out my other videos. Thanks for being with me.